I be blunt, yearly software development plans are my favorite thing about software development. My favorite fiction. Upper management, managers, project managers, product owners, even developers assume they know exactly what to build during the year, what features to build during the year, and how long exactly it will take. That's a huge assumption, right? Let's look at the traditional way of making plans. First, it's output oriented. You know exactly what needs to be built. The requirements are clear. They are clear simply because you worked 3 months, 4 months, even 1 year on building, crafting this requirements document. And then you break down the task into smaller tasks and plan the year, plan the project, plan the feature, and you follow the plan. If there's changes in requirements, if there's issues, you adjust the plan accordingly. We've been using this type of plan for the past 50 years in software development. The problem with traditional plans is that they don't work in modern times. Again, they are output oriented. Where's the reward of a traditional plan? Meeting the deadline, fixed scope. What about the customer? The rewarding developers, people working on the project when they follow the plan, when they meet the deadline, when they are within budget. But what about the customer? What about releasing something, getting feedback from customer and building something better? This is not included in the traditional plan. We already assume that we know exactly what the customer wants. We don't. Sorry to tell you, but we don't. That's where agility comes into play. The Agile Manifesto principle number 1, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software, our highest priority. And how do you deliver valuable software? You release early, you get feedback, you improve on this feedback, and you go on and on until the software satisfies the customer. You can't do that with traditional plans. But still, most of us work in a corporate environment. We report to people, upper management, stakeholders, managers. They require a timeline. They require a roadmap. They require a budget. And they often require a yearly plan, a yearly roadmap. How does this work in agility? Can you really plan a year, 6 months, a quarter? Well, no. Planning doesn't work. Most plans fail because of 3 reasons. First, people who crafted the plan, the yearly plan, assume nothing will go wrong. Have you ever seen a developer that writes perfect code without any bugs? I haven't. Have you ever seen a developer that doesn't take sick leaves? Is there been a year where there's no hurricanes, cyclones, or exceptional events where people need to take leaves? There's always something happening. And when these things happen that don't go as per your plan, there will be a delay, and people don't take that into consideration. I once was working with a team. Every single week, they were delivering 50 story points, but they were taking 100. I made them realize that they had the capacity to work on only these 50 story points, but still they believed that the current sprint would be different. They took 100 points because all the previous sprints, something happened, something exceptional happened that won't be happening this sprint. And again, this sprint, 50 points. People assume that nothing will go wrong. Don't underestimate that. And when things go wrong, when things don't go as per plan, what do the project managers, upper management, program managers tell us to do? Either reduce the scope, impact directly the customers, because our priority is meeting the deadline, or second, cut corners. And most of the time, we are cutting corners, which will lead to more bugs, technical debt, which will lead in the long run to more delays. It's a vicious cycle. The second reason most long-term plans fail is because people assume, the team managers, project managers, product managers, they assume that they know exactly what the customer wants. Do you know what the customer will want in 1 year? Why are you using Agile? Why are you releasing early? Getting feedback. Why are you releasing in increments to get feedback from customers? Because you don't know what they want. Most companies that use Agile, they are really using Agile. They don't care about the feedback from customers. They already made up their mind. They tell you they care about the customers, but what they care about is staying within budget and meeting the deadline and releasing the most features possible. Yes, they still release in increment, but what's the use in releasing early, releasing incrementally? If we ignore feedback from customers, we are still following the traditional approach. And if ever we get feedback from one of a customer, we ignore it because we need to stick to our yearly plans. Because we knew exactly what the customer wanted, and the customer giving the feedback, they don't really know what they want. We know better. The third reason why long-term plans fail is because people assume they know how long a task will take. A simple task or a group of tasks, how long this will take. Throughout the years, I had a lot of debates with project managers, product managers, confused on why our estimations were wrong, why we didn't meet the deadline. They truly believe that when we are estimating, when the team is estimating, when the team is doing a plan, we are 100% sure that we will meet this plan. It's a guess. It's a prediction. We don't know what will happen in the future. If I knew, I would have played the lottery. No one knows, and don't listen to people that tell you they know what will happen in the future. We can't even predict 2 weeks. Most sprints are 2 weeks long, and in the Scrum guide, it's mentioned that the sprint backlog can change because many things can happen in the sprint as long as we don't impact the sprint goal. It's already assumed in Scrum that we don't know what will happen in the sprint, and that's 2 weeks. We're trying to plan a year. It's fiction. Completely fake, your plan. Maybe it would work in a factory. You're building the same car over and over again. You can use Kanban, principles of flow, to know exactly how long it takes to build each part, to assemble each part. And if you have the data for how long it took to build one car, 10 similar cars, 100 similar cars, you can predict how long it would take to build 1,000. You're building the same thing over and over again, but software development, we are always designing something new. If we're not designing something new, if we are copying something from the past, it would be easy. There's no physical product, it's just copying code, but we are not doing that. We're designing something new. How can you estimate that? And how can you compare that to building the same thing over and over again in a factory? It's not the same thing. I find it funny and sad when people make yearly plans and believe we'll be able to meet this yearly roadmap. When you're working on this plan, lots of sessions, meetings, estimation, you're basically wasting time. Planning in software development makes you less predictable. Planning in software development slows you down because you could have invested the time coding. No, you're wasting time planning and estimating for a yearly plan. That is 100% not going to happen. It will change 100%. You're wasting your time. But what can we do instead? We still have managers, upper management, stakeholders insisting that we give them a plan. Well, there needs to be a shift in mindset from output-oriented to outcome-oriented. Really, make this shift. Instead of following a plan, rewarding people when they follow a plan, meet a deadline, stay within budget, reward people when they delight customers, when they provide value. That's when you should be rewarding people. Let's look at the Scrum framework as an example. What's the ultimate goal? What we are trying to achieve with the Scrum framework? The product goal. A product goal can be something like, by the end of the next quarter, we'll increase customer satisfaction by 10%, assuming that we have the data and we know that in the previous quarter we increased it by 5%. Maybe we can increase it in this quarter by 10%. You have your product goal, and everything, at least priority items in the product backlog, if completed, should allow us or help us reach this product goal. And each and every single sprint, when you're crafting your sprint goal, you have a product goal in mind. And in theory, if you achieve your sprint goals each and every single sprint of a quarter, at the end of a quarter, you'll meet your product goal. That's how you do planning in Scrum. Did I talk about dates? Deadlines? No, the focus was always the objective. Clearly measured, increase by 10%. And it doesn't matter what methodology, what framework, what practices, if you're using Agile or not, it doesn't matter. You can always craft a smart goal with a customer in mind, with a clear baseline, a clear target, and you focus on this goal no matter what. Release early, release continuously, get feedback from the customer, and ignore the plan. Because when the customer wants something, when we want to build something that will truly delight the customer, that will bring profits to the company, Do you really want to know how long it will take? We'll build it anyway. So let's take all the capacity, all the manpower that we have to focus on crafting this beautiful feature and delight the customer. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.